Hey, hey, how's it going? I hope you are doing well. My name is Kristen Nicole. Happy Friday. So again, I came across an article, and I look for these with purpose, but I came across an article talking about how three common events can actually cause trauma to your kids. And I thought it was very important to come on here and share this because if you are a mom with BPD, or if you suffer from depression or anxiety or anything like that, I know one of your worst fears is actually passing on that to your kids. So I'm sure you are very, very aware, very cognizant of things that happen with them, emotionally speaking, as well. And you want to be hypersensitive, hyper aware of any sort of potential triggers. So I pulled this article to share, and it is pretty lengthy, so I'm not going to get into the whole thing because of the interest of time. I don't want to take up too much time, and my kids are getting a little restless for my husband too, so I want to make sure that I can get some time in with them. But I wanted to share just three common situations or events that can happen that you want to watch out for that can cause trauma for your kids. So these can be things like moving to a new house, having an injury, normal things to us as adults that wouldn't likely trigger us, but for a child, this can actually be very traumatic if it's not handled correctly. So in the article that I found, there's a stat that, and I don't tell you this to freak you out, but just to give you some awareness that 68% of children seen in pediatric health settings have been exposed to at least one traumatic event. Now, that is according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, but it's important to note that I believe they are classifying this as potentially traumatic events, which are things such as violence or abuse. However, experts have said that it's everyday stressful events or upsetting experiences that children may encounter that aren't typically what are called ACE experiences, which are adverse childhood experiences that can trigger trauma. But they can still potentially cause long-term grief. So any event that results in a child feeling a loss or feeling personally threatened can be felt as trauma to them. So common events that can be traumatic are things such as bullying, accidents, injuries, isolation, academic failures are all examples of things that can be traumatic to your child or children. And I just think about my situation. I was heavily bullied as a child, especially as a very young child. And I can see how that had a lasting effect and impression on me. So they note that children with self-regulation challenges may be most at risk for becoming overwhelmed with reactions to everyday events. So they may be more at risk, but any child can actually experience occasionally an everyday event as being catastrophic to them. So the events fall into three main categories, and I'm going to go over those with you really quickly. So the first one is the loss of something concrete. So this can be moving into a new house. It can be something like a new car, a loss of a special object, or even a piece of furniture at home. Adults tend to experience loss when it is related to people. However, children tend to experience loss when it is related to things, concrete items, and that can be very traumatic. So you want to keep an eye out for that to see if you've noticed any symptoms or signs that maybe your child is reacting a little bit differently since moving or since getting a new car, something of that nature. The second one is a change in relationship. And some examples of these include a sibling moving away or going to college, a conflict that doesn't necessarily include your child, but is witnessed between extended family members, a best friend moving away, or a friend group changing. So if they change schools and their friend group changes, I mean, that might be kind of like a double whammy, I think. And then the third one is a perceived threat to their own safety. So they say changes in the world don't immediately affect them, but could make them worry that something like that is going to happen to them, such as current events. If there's a violent event in the news, if there is a death of a classmate's parent, that can make them worry and be very concerned that something like that is going to happen to them, which can cause that trauma effect. So again, I know that this is not kind of a happy-go-lucky video, but I know that if you are someone who struggles with BPD, or if you struggle with anxiety or depression, I'm sure that you have a very heightened sense of awareness. And the last thing you want to do is pass that on to your child. So you certainly need to have this information to be able to keep an eye on them. And just knowledge is power, of course. So of course you just want to be able to, if you don't know what to look for, then how can you possibly help to combat it, right? So like I said, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go into the rest of the article, but if you would like the link to the article that I'm pulling this from, or if you would like 2 tips to recognize that your child is struggling, or 4 ways to help respond to your child if you feel they are struggling, shoot me a private message and I'm happy to get that over to you. I hope this has been valuable for you. I hope that you have gotten at least some information and it helps put you a little bit at ease. If you're anything like me, at least knowing what to look for actually helps you feel a little bit more in control and feel like you can really, be on the lookout for any of those potential factors. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for checking this out. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great start to your weekend. Again, if you would like the link to the article, or if you want to have, if you would like 2 tips on what to look for, or 4 ways to respond, 4 tips on how to respond if you notice anything, shoot me a private message. If you're viewing this on Facebook, you just go up to my the top of the page, whether it's my business page or my personal profile, and hit that message button. If you are looking at this on Facebook, if you're looking at this on YouTube, then there should be a contact me button on there that you can reach out to me. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.